Hello everybody, my name is Alex Shrednoslak and I'm a film critic at FilmBook. Today, I'll be reviewing the 2018 thriller Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus was written and directed by Edward A. Palmer. The film stars Ingvild Dahlia and Stuart Mortimer. I hope I said that right. The movie has a simple premise. A strange man kidnaps a girl and locks her in a room with nothing but her clothes and a toilet. She suffers from amnesia, so he reminds her every day why she's there. He claims he won't release her until she falls in love with him. He eases her into triggers to help jog her memory of who he really is and how she ended up there. There's also a surprised lack of hippopotamuses in this movie. I hadn't heard of this movie before it came my way. I don't even think it would be possible unless you just randomly came across it or somebody else recommended it to you. According to the IMDb page, this movie was made for about £5,000, which is about $6,500 US. It's a no-budget feature, but I don't think you would know that unless you looked it up like I did. The movie's very well shot, the sound is clean for the most part, and the rest of the technical work is fine. I have a soft spot for movies like this because I too have made a no-budget feature film, so I know how incredibly difficult it is. So to say the least, I respect it in that aspect. However, this movie has some glaring issues that make it really difficult to watch. The story's fine, it's not overly complicated. It tends to be a bit dull at points because 90% of the movie takes place in this single room. The performances are fine for the most part too. I think I have a bit more issues with the directing than I do with the two leads. It's not that either of them are not convincing in this movie, but I am conflicted about how they react in certain situations. For instance, the main girl has amnesia like I mentioned before. She's constantly forgetting what's happening, and the main guy is always reminding her of why she's there. I feel like she's a bit too calm for somebody who's being held captive. Also, both her ligaments in her knees were severed. Like, don't get me wrong, she definitely is like, this is not where I want to be right now, but, she seems a little too chill about it sometimes. It also felt like she was trusting him a bit too early, especially for a guy who's like, you can't leave until you fall in love with me. So there's quite a few logical issues with the story. Other than that, the movie's fairly watchable as far as a thriller goes. There is one glaring issue with this movie that I feel like is going to turn a lot of people off. As I mentioned, the movie primarily takes place in one room. All of the sound as far as the dialogue, sound effects, etc. were re-recorded in a studio. I understand why it was done. You definitely want to have clean sound when you're making a movie. A movie's more likely to get picked up by a distributor if it doesn't have any severe flaws with it, especially one that's made at this budget level. But it does have one major flaw with it, and it's that I can tell that all of the sound was redone. It made for a very awkward viewing experience, knowing that none of the sounds or dialogue sound natural. It also felt like there was two separate performances happening with each of the characters. Like there was their performance that you can see on screen, but then there was like a separate performance that they recorded in a recording studio. And at times, it really does not match up. It feels like the words that are coming out of their mouth are not matching up with their body language that they're presenting. It really takes away from what's happening. I really hate that I have to point it out, but it's definitely a really distracting part of the movie that I feel like is going to throw off a lot of viewers. Aside from that, I feel like this movie has a really small audience. It had an intriguing enough trailer to capture my attention. Plus, this movie is only about an hour and 18 minutes, so even if you don't like it, you're not wasting a ton of time with it. I don't see the general population liking this movie. But if you're an appreciator of no-budget filmmaking, you should definitely go out and support this movie. So, I'm going to go ahead and rate Hippopotamus a 6 out of 10. And that brings us to the conclusion of my review for Hippopotamus. I'd like to thank you all for watching. You can see more of my reviews on the FilmBook website. That's film-book.com. Just search for Alex Shrednoslak. You can also find other videos and reviews I've done on my YouTube channel, link in the description. If you like what you heard during my review, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so that way you're notified as soon as new reviews are published. If you agreed or disagreed with my review, definitely leave me a comment down in the comment section below. Please also consider becoming a member on our Patreon, link also in the description. Your support helps us create more engaging content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.